There he is, there he is, there he is. Welcome in, boys and girls. Welcome in, welcome in. Thank you, Zan. Appreciate the raid. What an absolute amateur. Only streaming for 8 hours. What an absolute fucking rookie. Welcome in, though, boys and girls. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. I wasn't really planning on streaming, if I'm going to be brutally honest, but I'm sat at my computer playing video games, so we might as well. I was kind of partly trying to take a day off. My day off has not gone very well, other than I've had to catch up on some, you know, adulting stuff today. I had to hoover the place, give a bit of a tidy up, a bit of a clean up. The kitchen was like an absolute bomb had gone off, so I had to address that situation, and all of these things added up, and I was like, right, okay, maybe we're going to have to take a day off and deal with this. Talk about old timies. Yeah, they're terrible. They're absolutely terrible. Old armies are dead. Don't bother. Don't do any of this shuffling business. It's useless. Keep your hands off tailoring. No, nobody wants to unravel anything. It's all useless. Oh. Oh, yes, of course, of course, of course. Go farm some more. Go farm some herbs. I'm very red in the face. I've just come out of a shower. Right. The auction house is actually cooked. Legitimately cooked. This thing doesn't do anything that you tell it to do. Not even remotely. I have no idea how much is selling. I have no idea how much, like, if stuff is selling, if stuff is not selling. We have been winging it. I occasionally check the mailbox just to see if there's any love in there. I couldn't tell you how much I've sold. I couldn't tell you how much I've made. I couldn't tell you how much I've lost. Although TSM is doing a really good job of making the graph look hella scary. This is just today, by the way. This is not the direction it's meant to go in. This is not the direction. But for the most part, have I spent 8 million gold on Bismuth already? Okay. Yeah, it begins. It begins. Yeah, go farm some Bismuth. Christ. What is going on with the Bismuth prices? Did I pick up any cheap tokens? Nah, I'll worry about that when it happens. I'll look at that when it happens. Yeah, rank 1 Bismuth. It claims it's 50 gold a piece. Not convinced. Look at the sale rate on this stuff, though. Regional average daily sold, 546,000. I don't even trust TSM numbers, but that is probably an understatement. That's actually wild. Like, easy million Bismuth a day is shifting at the moment. Easy, in my opinion. Prices of ore is insane. We could do with some bots. You're probably not wrong. This was gonna happen, though. This was gonna happen. Today's the first day where I kind of think it's starting to pop off a bit. That spark has clearly lit the fire on Q3 materials. It's lit the fire a little bit. Up until literally today, nothing was going on in the rank 3 market. Like, literally nothing at all. I'd had a little bit of a poke around, a little bit of play around, and nothing was going on, but... Can you increase the volume gain, please? The voice is low over a phone. Well, don't use a phone. Like, the answer is no, because then it will peak and it will blow everybody else's ears off. Maybe, unfortunately, mobile phone speakers are probably tragic. But yeah, I don't know whether I should continue poking around with the auction house and try and get it to do what I want it to do, or, or, no pun intended, or should I actually go and work a little bit more on this problem? This problem being that I do not have enough artisan security. I have some. You can see most of my characters are in a reasonably good position. Yeah, I still have this kind of weird goal to get all blue tools on all of my characters relatively quickly, because that is like your free pass into, you know, quality 3 marketplace. Blizzard fans aren't allowed to have phones, that's the rule. Well, true. What's wrong with the auction house? Oh, it's just like you can't. It's about as responsive as a very slow snail. The if you post something, you can't see that you've posted it, so you absolutely definitely can't cancel it. You also will get notifications in your chat channel that stuff is selling, but you have to wait until it lands in the mailbox to know what it sold for and what actually sold, and it's all a little bit risky playing with it at the moment. But I might start off by just snagging some. What should we do? Should we do Q2 core alloys, or should we do Q3 core alloys? We'll decide based upon the price of bismuth. 300 gold a piece. I don't believe that for a second. 300 gold a piece. I don't believe it's going to stay anywhere near 312, is it? What is it actually? 378. 378 a piece. Average price. Alright, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, Auctionator is the trick. The default UI for the auction house just basically doesn't work. You're best off just ignoring it. It's the fail safes it puts in place on pricing is going to basically mean you never buy anything, which is a problem. Let's grab a little bit of that. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Do core alloys. What did we buy in the end? Did I not get it out the mailbox? What a donkey. There's our stack of bismuth. You're gonna have to do the math yourself, though. The numbers it's showing is still wrong. Oh yeah. I'm not trusting any add-ons. Not even remotely close am I trusting add-ons. The simple way is we know exactly how much I spent on this last stack of 1,000 bismuth. The echoing flux really doesn't matter, and we just do create it all, and then we do the maths at the end. Simples. As long as we post them for more it costs us to make them, GG. Let's leave that open. We get to some crafting. But yeah, the auction house is not fun to play with at the moment. It's a good learning lesson though. It's a really good learning lesson for people to try and practice not relying on add-ons. So many people rely entirely on TSM, or they rely entirely on Craft Sim, or you know, this leads people to just fall apart and not be able to do anything when those add-ons don't work properly. But if you can do the napkin maths at least, you can put yourself in a position where you can still fight through the weeds. Is there a viable method to calculate the percentage variance between different rank mats? Is there a viable method to calculate the percentage variance between different ranked mats? Not really very easily. I'm mostly not worried about it at all. I look at it in two ways. I either look at it as a cheap market, or I look at it as the quality 3 market. Your quality 3 market is you're using quality 3 materials, and so your variancy is all self-contained. If you're in the cheap market, you're basically looking to mass produce either quality 1 or 2 for the lowest possible price. So just buy the cheapest materials, I guess. There isn't much crossover between the two markets yet. That's something that's going to turn up when alt armies get into play, and when the prices sort of sort themselves out. On alt armies will do their thing where they, they log on. They'll use their concentration to dive over that gap as such. Not very practiced with that yet because it doesn't really apply. Last week, my friend who is not really a goal maker made $1 million with Thaumaturgy. So proud. Yeah, Thaumaturgy was good in the first few days. I kind of wish I had a bit of a more of a better understanding of that before the expansion went live. My Alchemist is fully leveled now, I think, or nearly fully leveled. My Alchemist is I can't remember which characters are which these days. I've changed all of my characters for this expansion so that I can do sweaty goblin things, and we can track stuff and we can do geeky things. My Alchemist is, yeah, relatively full build, penny silvers, ready to 745 artisan security. Okay, so not quite full build. Needs 900 to get the three tools, but I don't think I've done much on that character so far. I need to check it actually and see if there's any good Patron orders available. Maybe do a small, light little shuffle into engineering or something. Get those extra points. How do you evaluate quote-unquote best profession? Level all of them and then see which one's making money. This is kind of, I've gone the spaghetti at the wall approach. One of every character, primarily focused on one of each, like, crafting profession. And my goal is to get all of them with their 3 pieces of profession gear before season launches. So that when the big demand turns up, I mean, the demand is already starting today with the first sparks floating about and people trying to put together their pre-raid bis and stuff. But of course, the big demand, when absolutely everybody's gearing and materials are flying and everybody's looking to get the best of the best, when that really kicks in, I want to make sure that each of my professions, each of my characters with their primary profession, can at least play in the quality 3 market with something. A lot of these, you can see I haven't actually decided what my spec is going to be yet. My engineer is spec'd into parts just to produce some cheap parts for doing shuffles on the others. My alchemist is going into flasks, and I'm probably going to focus on the swiftness flask. My scribe has gone into milling inks and reagents, mostly because I didn't want to get into silly things like contracts or whatever with Inscription. I saw those as being way too, early, one hit wonder sort of specs with Inscription. I have no idea what I'm doing with leatherworking. Tailoring, I do actually have a very strong, firm spec built on my tailor, and my tailor has done some sweaty things. My tailor has 3 pieces of their rare gear and 2 of the Artisan security books already. I'm nearly full build on my tailor, but I am absolutely desperate to make some gold with it because it's cost me a bomb. But yeah, we'll put that over there, shall we? Are we finished making our alloys yet? We have finished making our alloys. Let's go then put those on the auction house and see what the going rate is. Who can remember what we paid for these? What did we pay for that ore? 376? 376?
I have an extended
We ended up making 117 of them. 376, 374. Okay, we're breaking even on the core alloys apparently. We've got to be careful not to overspend on the bismuth, clearly. Now, interestingly, I do have another option for these, which might squeeze out a little bit more value to them. That's an indication that we were overpaying on our bismuth. We need to make sure we pay less than that for the bismuth. Or alternatively, there's a strong chance that half of these aren't actually real. There's a very strong chance half of these aren't real. What I might do as an alternative, although I don't know if I've sold any really, is convert them up. Charged alloys, I've sold some charged alloys, I've sold some iron claw alloys. So at least some of those are selling. So maybe we look at converting a few of them into these instead. What are we adding to it in terms of price? 5 Akirite at quality 3. Which is 500 gold we're adding there. This doesn't count. So we're only adding 500 gold onto the cost of both of these. Which, what did we say? These were 3.2 on the auction house currently. So 6.4 plus 500. Let's just call it 7 for the sake of maths. But by the time we add some resourcefulness and multi-craft into the play, we could probably craft 20 of these and come out ahead. Spread the materials out a little bit more. But whilst the auction house is completely scuffed, I'm probably not going to do much of this. Fighting with an auction house that doesn't work is painful. Let's just make 20 of each of these. If we make 20 of them, we'll see how many we end up after. Oh, there we go. A nice multi-craft. That's exactly what we need. Somebody hoovered up all the Q2 sanctified alloys. Yeah, it's going to start getting a bit silly, right? Now that people are getting a sniff of the fact that there's some demand for things out there, people are likely to turn around and start resetting markets and doing crazy things. The next few days could be wild. Made 250k so far in the War Within just from having War Mode on, getting the supply drops, selling the recipes I get that I won't be using anytime soon. It's a smart move, you know. An alternative little farm. Right, we crafted 20, or it cost us 20 materials at least. We ended up with 28. That is actually outrageous profits there. Let's do the same with these. Multi-craft coming in clutch. Can you craft max equipment? Yeah, I've not spec'd into equipment. I've gone full on into alloys on this dude. For starters, I don't have half the recipes, and even if I did, I wouldn't be able to make them fantastically well. The easy rule to remember with me and my crafting is if it leads me to having to do work orders, I don't do it. I don't go anywhere near work orders. I am not standing around in spamming trade chat. Would you recommend getting max equipment before you level professions? You're going to have a harder time. That it kind of happens at the same time, honestly. You're going to find yourself having a harder time getting your rare accessories if you don't level this to max first. Simply because you'll not likely be able to complete quite as many work orders. There's loads of reasons. You just want to slowly nudge them all up. The auction house has ruined my gold mining. The auction house is not perfect right now, no. It's not perfect, but if you understand your prices and if you do the maths and figure out the numbers, you should be fine.
My directive is to serve you.
Bit of napkin maths goes a long way. So we've now got some charged alloys. I'm going to go by the process here of just throw it on the auction house. And, these have been hoovered up again. These keep getting hoovered up and reset. This is quite funny. Not perfect, understatement of the year. Well, it is what it is. There's an add-on that tracks trade spams. It's pretty cool. I, for the most part, like, even with add-ons, I don't want to go anywhere near it. I'm not going to go anywhere near it. Some random quality 2 alloys from somewhere. Don't know where these have come from. Sold some of those Iron Claw alloys straight away though. How'd you get rep with Dornogle? I didn't quite manage to reach 12 whilst clearing the rares in questline. Also, treasures seemed bugged. I've hardly focused on Renown at all. I am massively behind with Renown. All I know is lore master the zones, kill the rares, pick up treasures. I'm sure there's significantly more to it than that, but I've not practiced. Yeah. I'm not in a good position with my Renown yet. It's something that I kind of need to get to, and if the auction house is going to be as dead as a dodo like it is now, there's a strong possibility that I might actually just go and do some of the world content, because if I can't proactively be doing auction house things, or I can't be doing auction house things properly, then there's no reason not to. Right, let's check another couple of characters. Could you show the Spectre and how you're guaranteeing rank 3 alloys? Well, it's gone. Until you... Well, I wanted to talk about this in a bit of detail, actually. What have I sold over on this character? The first thing most players are going to want to do is get their 3 pieces of profession gear. I've seen quite a few people confused about should they go for knowledge books or should they go tools first. And you can kind of do whatever you want, obviously, but if you want my opinion on it, I would recommend you go tools first. Get your profession gear sorted first, mostly because that you cannot get into the crafting quality 3 guaranteed markets or even quality 5 gear markets. You physically cannot get in those markets until you have 3 pieces of profession gear that are rare and 100 skill in your profession. There are some scenarios. Where you can be missing 1 or 2 pieces, potentially. But the general rule is you need this bar full and you need these blue. Until you've done that, you're always going to be using concentration. And it does not matter how many knowledge points you have. You could have 5,000 knowledge points, but if you haven't got 100 skill and you haven't got these 3 at blue, you're still going to be using concentration. So that's why I'm suggesting for most people, if you're sort of figuring out your spec trees and stuff, you've got plenty of time to figure out the spec trees. You've got plenty of time to figure out where to spend those points. But you want to get this lot sorted first. If you get this lot sorted first, the rest of it will fall into place quite easily. What have we sold in here? Oh, we still haven't sold that pummel permit. Lol. Let's put that back on the auction house, shall we? The auction house is so broken, I'm not even using my auction house character to post everything. I'm literally just posting very small quantities of things on the characters that I happen to be on. Totally not the right way of doing it. Where the Christ is all the pummel permits? That's really funny. Where did they all go? This is another one. This probably isn't actually true. You can't trust anything you see in the auction house right now. This is probably not true at all. Probably not true at all. The reason I was on this dude was mostly because I wanted to actually look at getting some of my weekly stuff done on this fella. Unfortunately, the way I've chosen to play the game, even though this is my main character, like actually main character, he is not doing anything particularly fancy with professions. Mostly because my professions are pretty strictly held in place. But patron orders are looking quite good, so I should probably keep the patron orders ticking over, at the very least on these dudes. I mean, I haven't even bothered to finish leveling these yet. It's really sad, actually. I put way too much time and effort into my other characters. So sad, in fact, I don't think I'm going to bother on these. I just wanted to check what was sold. I was kind of hoping it was that pummel permit, but it's not. What alchemy branch did you go down? I went down the flasks route on my main alchemist. But I am very tempted to level another alchemist, or even two, just because alchemy is a long journey. Actually, the longest of nearly any of the professions. I think you need some 200 plus knowledge points before you really get into the guaranteeing stuff. I'm not convinced we're going to see players guaranteeing top quality flasks before the raid comes out, which could cause some wild prices. Most of the other crafted items, you can get like 100, 120, 150 knowledge points, and you'll be max ranking them. Alchemy, though, has got some pretty aggressively expensive things. Or long journeys, long knowledge point journeys to go down. My mains are still jewel gathering while I finish off Lawmaster and do the World Quest farm. Got about 1,500 Microbloom and Bismuth so far, just naturally. Crafters are all still level 70. Most of my crafters have hit level 72 now because of the XP gain by actually crafting stuff, first time bonuses and stuff. I've hit level 72 on most of my crafters, so the expansion is a bit shorter for me in that regard. Right, this dude. Oh, hang on, we can get some people in the guild here. This dude has, what has he got? Jewelcrafting. Where's the Jewelcrafting table? It's around here somewhere, isn't it? Let's have a little bit of a looky if there's any work orders. Full hasn't got his tools yet. I've not bothered to get these crafted yet, but I might need to do that ASAP. But he's only 100 artisan security away from actually doing it. Oh, that's interesting. We could push that to 900 tonight if we wanted to. Let's see what work orders are saying.
Is that your wallet? Or are you just glad to see me? Both, I hope.
Genuine Gaming with a gifted sub. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Are you actually doing the 2 treasures per profession per week? The second one takes me like... yeah, treasures are a nightmare, but it's one of those things that you kind of... If you're going to be optimal, you might as well be optimal. If you're going to do it, you should probably do it. Some professions as well, they only give 1 knowledge point, whereas some professions they give 2 each. So it's either 2 or 4 knowledge points you can gain by those. So it's more worth to some than it is to others, but you should probably still get it on the go. This at quality 4 is not going to happen because I don't even have the recipe. Malleable band. This isn't going to happen either because I don't have the ability. I need 20 points spent in that, which I haven't decided where we're going with this Jewelcrafter either. There's part of me, right, that kind of wants to leave a couple of my professions without any spec points spent, but with full profession, full tools, just to give me maximum flexibility. Who remembers just before the Elemental Lariat turned up, for example? Who remembers the Jewelcrafters who spec'd into, you know, some random ass gem really quickly at the beginning of the expansion, and then they got the Elemental Lariat, and they didn't have like the right spec to be able to actually craft it properly. I mean, I'm sure they did fine, right? I'm sure they ate pretty well that month, but like, it's one of those. I think it's kind of smart in a way if you're not using the profession too heavily to begin with, to just be patient with it. I don't know if I'm buttering that up or whether it's just an excuse that I haven't chosen anything yet, but quick amber. Oh, you want this at Q3? Wow, you absolute mad lad. We're not getting that at quality 3 anytime soon. Unless engraved gem cutters are somehow free at quality 3. 1,200 gold. Plus, it will require me to use my concentration, which I've only got 454 of it currently. I'm not even convinced with a quality 3 that will push me past there either. Maybe we're going to lose that artisan security. Okay, let's try that again. How did you reach 100 skill without points? Gold. Lots of gold. For jewel crafting, probably one of the blasphemite recipes, I think. Probably. I would, if I remember correctly, probably a blasphemite recipe. Yeah, the reason I've got 17 of these in my bags. Probably that one. Probably that one. None of this was free, by the way. Like I want to highly make it known that none of this playing around with professions was free. There's a reason my TSM graph is going in the wrong direction. Am I content I can't do any of these then? It doesn't even let me see that one. That one's really busted. Oh, okay. Now we can see it. Oh, it's got Artisan security on it again. Damn. Oh, you want it at quality 3. There's no quality here. You want me to provide the 6 gems. What's 6 times 4? 2.5k just for the gems. Plus another 1,000 plus for this thing at quality 3. To have any chance of then doing it. To then still need... In fact, I could buy these at quality 1 and use concentration. I'm not using... I don't even have 464 concentration. Okay, that's another one that's not going to happen. I wonder, you know, how many people are going to get... Like, they're going to see an order. And they're going to be like, oh, well, if I just go put some points in, boom, 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 boom. And then I can fill that one order. And then they're going to be like, okay, I've now got a dumbass build. And you could use concentrate to reduce the concentration cost. Or I could just leave it. Wow! Not providing the null stone. Great. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. It's only for a flipping augment rune. We'll leave that alone. See you later, fella. 4 null stones not provided. Some of these patrons, you know, they're worse than the scumbags from Dragonflight. They genuinely are. Okay. I need to ask myself the serious question then. Do I want another 100 artisan security on this dude to then decide... Because I can get 100 artisan security. I've got ways and means of getting it. What's my other profession on this dude as of right now? Engineering? Or maybe I could go and have a look at the engineering work orders, see if they're any better. I'm probably going to drop engineering on this character before too long as well. Well, actually, I've probably got an engineering work order, do I not? No. Maybe I've already done it. Do we know what the 600 acuity bag drops? It's usually a bunch of materials. I think it's quite random what it drops. For people used it on the beta quite heavily to get like free materials. What did it contain? It was a bunch of Q3 mats. It was nowhere near worth 600 artisan security though. In 12 months time when nobody cares about artisan security, you might consider it, but It's basically like a Paragon box, but for crafters. Entirely disappointing 99% of the time. No, that's the wrong table. No, that's not the wrong table. That is the engineering table. Oh, I'd never introduced myself over here. Right, well now I will be able to get the engineering orders. Is it possible to shuffle Patron orders for acuity from other professions? Yes, very much so. Very much so.
You wish to speak? Winds be at your back.
It's pretty time consuming and costly to do it though. But it can be done. Not if you're on NA, at least for now. Is a Patron order still dead over on Team NA, are they? Oh, there's 8 potentially here. Some big qualities here that I don't like the look of though. Well, that's achievable. This is achievable. Right, actually, before we do this, I'm gonna fix a quick thing. I have, where is it? You are my actual engineer. I'm gonna quickly craft up a wild selection of Q1 engineering parts, rather than doing them on the other engineers. This dude is probably likely to get some better prices on the mats. Although I don't actually think I've leveled this engineer to full even. I've got so many characters on the go, I genuinely can't keep track of it all myself, even with a flipping spreadsheet. I am violently running the risk of burning myself out doing this. Where are we? Skill 85? I should probably just be inventing every day from this point on, shouldn't I? Oh, I have basically no other choice but to invent every day. These are still too expensive. Why have I got multiple add-ons doing the same thing? I'll turn those off for a minute. NA just getting back up right now, only to see 2 Patron orders on 2 of my characters, both of which I don't have the pattern to fill. Yeah, that's gonna be a frustration, unfortunately. The way I'm looking at Patron orders, I am considering them a bonus, right? If I can fill them and they don't cost me an arm and a leg, it's a bonus. You can get 10 to 12 knowledge points on most professions each week without even touching Patron orders. So if you can fill some of them, just consider it a bonus, really. Right, this dude might have some better success, or not really. I was going to say he might have some better success, but not really. I've got 15 points to spend, though. Just do more parts. 5, 10, 15. Why did I not spend those? Oh, that's still not enough. 205 and we're at 196. Ooh. I was hoping I'd get to the point where I could make quality 2 parts with quality 1 materials. Maybe not then. Maybe this character needs a little bit more love before we can do clever things with it. There's 3 new first craft bonuses though. Why did I not craft this? I did not craft this because it's massively expensive for 5 artisan security. How's my artisan security on this dude? 770. See, I'm really getting there. I'm really close to the finish line on a lot of these characters now. Well, I say finish line, the halfway line. 900 is only the halfway line, but I'm considering 900 Artisan Security the sort of like the entry ticket to endgame crafting. A few people seem to have an issue with the volume on YouTube recently. I haven't changed anything. I'm not quite sure why YouTube seems to be at a lower volume than... I'm never getting this report on Twitch. Especially considering on YouTube I don't even have background audio. Maybe I'll check the VOD later and see if I can figure out what's going on. Did you farm the Renown up? No, I need to look at getting the Renown sorted. Once I get the Renown sorted, it'll be fine. YouTube has been super quiet the past few days. I don't know why it's doing that then. There's not anything I can do about it while live. I don't have the ability to balance the audio differently to what I send to Twitch. This is the problem. So I will put it on my list of to-dos. B just one-shot me in the air on my druid. You got bead! You got bead! Oh, it's a rite of passage getting bead. It happens to the best of us. It really does. Happens to the best of us. Why going blue equipment first? Even if you get the necessary rank 3 without concentration, the mats at rank 3 are super expensive and not worth it. Oh, the mats are super expensive, but so are the things you craft. That's kind of the point, right? So are the things you craft. Oh, hang on. I've got a missed call from the wife. Please hold. Give me 2 seconds, boys and girls. She could have had the decency of answering her phone, couldn't she? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Okay, yeah, I was going to use this dude to craft a few bits and pieces, but I aggressively need to stay on track then. Let's keep on track, otherwise I will run the risk of bouncing around and not getting anything done. So Ranthius, Jewelcrafting. Need 100 Artisan security on this dude. If we can get a couple of engineering work orders done, even if I have to go buy the materials off the terrible auction house that doesn't work. Right, this is more than easily done. Let's go grab some mats for that then. Unless, that is, I've got materials lying about already. Let's grab a bunch of basic stuff, shall we? Bunch of engineered related products. That'll do. Are we good? Do we have enough? No, missing some bismuth bolts still. Oh, I don't want to try and use this auction house, it's going to hurt.
I have calibrated my prices to be reasonable.
Blue tools are expensive to make. Yeah, they're not cheap to make good ones, no. I've chosen not to shoot for the moon. If you try and get quality 5 ones right now, you're going to have to use quality 3 materials to make them, and you're going to have to find a skilled crafter, both of which are going to be very expensive. Unless you're really hyper trying to min-max your tools, it's better to just get them. Even quality 1 blue tools is better than green tools. So the only one I would contemplate spending some money on is the actual tool, not the accessories, because you're going to want the right missive on that. You're also going to want the right enchant on that, because it's the one you can actually customize. I'd spend some money on that one. The other two, just get them. Just get them. We only need 8, but we're clearly going to need many more, aren't we? Let's buy a bunch of them. I need a tier 2 sub for your spreadsheet yet. Check the Discord. I don't actually have like a proper public spreadsheet. If you check the Discord, there's a premium section. For the most part, it's all through Patron anyway, rather than here on Twitch. Gyrating gears. We need a handful of these, but these are relatively cheap. I feel super defeated because pre-wide auction house I had some good niches to make gold. But since then I feel like I'm fighting against so many goblins, I've got no way of making a spot to myself. I mean, there are still things that you can sell on individual servers. It's only the commodities and consumables that are region-wide. A great example of this is the profession gear right now. Some people who have spec'd into making the profession gear, not even the rare stuff via work orders, but the basic greens, are able to produce them at a good quality, and there's serious demand for them right now with everybody tinkering with professions. Plus, there's a bit of a level up in this nowadays with the warbands and everything being a lot more account wide. You can mass produce those crafted items on one character throw them into your warband, create a character on 10 different servers, for example, and you can actually do multi-realm selling a lot more efficiently than what you have previously been able to. So there's definitely still options out there, even with a lot of the auction house being region wide. Dare I say though, and I see this an awful lot, that people find something that works for them, and they just stick with it, right? They find something that works and they keep going, and they basically close their eyes to anything else that could potentially be out there. And when the day comes that that one thing that they were doing stops working, they haven't really been keeping up with what the meta is, and get quite lost quite quickly. It's always worthwhile, even if you find something that works, sort of keeping your eyes open and making sure that you're moving with the flow.
Return and
Right, let's see if that was going to be enough materials to get a few work orders. It's no biggie if we bought too many, because we can no doubt use these materials for our main engineer. All the materials, they provided these two. Quality 1, quality 1, quality 1. Right, good to go. Forget to bring this a little bit more into the screen. Right, need one more. These quality 3 ones are going to be very difficult to achieve without using concentration. This looks like a really good candidate, providing some of the stuff. 4 gears and 3 whimsical wirings. Sure, we'll take that one. That's a win. So that's 2 orders, both which have given us some artisan security, which will now also complete our engineering quest. Let's see if there's anything else that we might... Well, I'm shit out of luck with that one, aren't I? What am I meant to do with that? You want quality 3, but you've only given me quality 2 mats. Well. How many times have we seen this scenario before? Okay, I can't... Wow, yeah, I'm rocking a hard place situation there. You want these at quality 2. We can do quality 2. We need to provide the emerald. And we need to provide a whimsical wiring. Emeralds are not going to be too expensive. 400 gold plus the cost of 2 of these. 2 of these, 1 of these will get us a knowledge point for another 10 artisan security. If we can, if we can get 10 artisan security for like 1,000 gold, there's absolutely no reason not to do it. So what did I say we needed for that? Shit, I should have tracked it. Whoops. What are we missing? An emerald. Do I not have any emeralds in my bags? Apparently not. I am the world's worst jewelcrafter this expansion. Are the weekly profession quests for production skills like blacksmithing, or is it just patron orders? Patron orders is your main way of gaining progression this time round. Instead of crafting some random materials and handing them in as a quest, that's literally... Patron orders is literally that system, just on a next level. So they've got rid of those basic quests. There's still the quest to fill work orders every week.
It is to serve you.
Of course, you can do that by cheesing orders. You can send yourself basic orders if you wish. You don't technically need to do it by patron orders, but if there's good stuff to be had from the patron orders, you might as well. That's the way I look at it anyway. Do patron orders not show up unless the character's level 80? There's no level requirement, but there is a sort of hidden skill requirement. It's slightly different for the different professions, but the way I describe it to people is that you need to get to the point where your trainer recipes where you can get no more trainer recipes for your profession, which is likely to be around skill 50 to 70 for most professions. Once you pass that invisible wall, then your patron orders will show up as well. I might just buy a few of these once again, because I can... Oh, great. Okay, hang on. Let's buy them through here instead. With how the auction house works at the moment, I'm often buying a few more things than I need just to limit the trips back here. Throw it in the war bank, grab it out when you need it, dump it all back in when you're finished. I desperately tried to keep the war bank neat and tidy. That lasted maybe 24 hours.
My thanks for your patron.
And then it all went horribly wrong. $820, we're getting there. Use quality ones, go. There's a possibility we can do this. It's going to take concentration, but we don't care about that too much. We're going to have to provide most of the materials though. Do we want to do it for 10 more artisan security? Sure, why not? Sure, why not? So we need a safety switch and 3 cave dwellers delights. Safety switch. Don't even have the bismuth. Wow, I've burnt through all of my goddamn bismuth doing... Here's me saying that I'm trying to limit the trips to the auction house. I've got Cave Dweller's Delight in the war bank, clearly.
I have an extended supply of goods for outlanders.
Give me safety switches. Got my tailor to 55, done all of the trainer stuff, still no patron orders. I got my patron orders at 62 with tailoring. That's the only one I can remember off the top of my head. 61 I had none, and then at 62 I got them. You're what now? There's no rank 1 safety switches on the auction house? What's going on? Okay. I guess it's because most engineers actually get past the point of being able to craft them. I nearly got suckered into buying something very expensive then. Wow, these are... Okay. Sure. If you have an alt army of like 8 to 10 characters, do you think it's worth doing the book on each? It's like 20k a week. Oh, you mean cycling the professions and just putting in book orders? Well, it's a single knowledge point per profession. It's like 35 artisan security to do that. The thing with any shuffle is you have to make that decision yourself. Like, you have to decide how much gold is worth doing. Nobody can tell you whether it's a good idea or a bad idea. If you're doing the shuffle in the first place, I'm going to assume that you've kind of you've set yourself up for the fact that it's an expensive journey anyway. You gotta set your own limits. Oh, I didn't buy the cave dwellers, did I? It's because they're in my guild vault. That's now on cooldown. Oh god, it's all going horribly wrong. This is why I don't stream at this hour of the day.
I have calibrated my prices to be reasonable.
I'm doing it on 65 tunes because I have a very specific breakpoint I want to hit. Is it a mental one? And when I do, I can log in daily and make gold the way I want to. I mean, I'm messing around on 8 and it's literally crippling me. In a good way, though. I want to clarify. Crippling me in a good way. I'm having an ungodly amount of fun. Why can I not do that? Oh, concentration. Sure. Yeah, I'm having outrageous amounts of fun, which is all that matters, honestly. And no way to get... Oh, that's 30 artisan security! I need 30 artisan security. Odds on me getting this to quality 3 somehow magically. It's not going to happen, is it? All I need to do is get to quality 2 somehow. Even using Q3 materials in here, I'm not going to get to quality 2. I've not done enough up here. That's annoying. Alright, well, whatever. It is what it is. Let's go turn in the engineering quest. What are we up to? 830.
What brings you here?
Let me track what we're doing here, actually. What's this character called? Ranthius. And he is a jewel crafter. I'm on engineering. I have just finished the patron orders, or the crafting orders, should I say? Have I used an engineering book? Oh no, do I not have an engineering book? I do have an engineering book. Bingo. Bonus. Have I been disconnected? That didn't show anything in my... Oh no, it did. Oh, the work order quest is 1 knowledge point for engineering. Ooh, gross. That was a lot of hard work for 1 knowledge point. Whoops. Oh well. Scribe book. Yes. Have I done all of my engineering first-time crafts on this dude? I assume that's the reason I've had the profession on this. I assume I left it after doing the shuffle anyway. First craft bonuses. Only these ones. And this one that was ludicrously expensive. Auction house is down on NA. Isn't NA got maintenance either soon, or have you already had it, or what's going on? I'm pretty sure you had... EU've got maintenance, but not until like 3 in the morning. Oh, it was just a restart, it's already done.
Sweet profit together.
Did it make any difference whatsoever? Valnix with a prime, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. Zero difference. Oh no. Oh no. 31k, 12k, 11k, 26k. Rough numbers. I'm not that enthusiastic about getting those. Really not that enthusiastic about getting those. Right, 60 knowledge points. How the Christ on a bicycle do I get 60 knowledge points? Oh, maybe doing the first time craft bonuses on my actual main profession might help. Okay, well that's easy enough. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. Way! 55. Oh, I'm going to get cucked by 5 points. I'm not making an inverted prism either. Yeah, maybe I can. $30 crushed gemstones. Holy shit, I didn't even realize gems were so expensive. That's wild. Damn. It's only gold, eh? What am I missing? Oh, I'm missing the actual Jewelcrafter's bench. Where is Jewelcrafting? Over here. Yeah, Jewelcrafting's just expensive from every angle. I really, really, really am tempted to go into prospecting. But I've not tested anything with prospecting, which I know means if I get into prospecting now, that's hella risky. I'm still trying to stay true to my original design of getting the artisan security to make these and getting this done without spending points here. I want ultimate flexibility. If something turns up that just prints money with Jewelcrafting, which so often does happen, I want to be in the position to do it. But the reality for me is that if it's not, if it's an elemental lariat situation, then if it's an elemental lariat situation, I'm not overly excited about it. But Binding of Bindings seems to have a lot of people talking about it recently, and I don't particularly know why. It sounds cool, but is it cool enough? Is it cool or is it good? This is the difference I don't know. Is it cool or is it good? The gem prices is part of the reason why ore is so expensive. Even with 0 skill, you can almost break even prospecting. Binding of Binding is on every healer's BIS list, it seems. Is it really? It's on most BIS lists. Kind of suspect that prospecting might be a trap, with gems being a byproduct of thaumaturgy. Yeah, it's one of the spec points, isn't it? One of the spec points is you may sometimes discover gems, isn't it? It doesn't take much, but it's a tiny little thing like that that could very easily screw up an entire market like prospecting. But it scares me that people are claiming that you can practically break even with prospecting without putting skill points into it. That means if I dig out a spreadsheet, if I get a good old spreadsheet on the go and prospect 10,000 bismuth overnight, put 100 points into it. What was it? I know I don't have 100 points. Shush, leave me alone. 40 points in here, and then 20, 40, 60, 80 to be the best at all of them. You realistically only need 20 in 2 of them to begin with at the least. So it's 40, 80 points plus whatever you need to get there. 90 points. 90 points you can get up and running with Jewelcrafting in a super efficient way. That means I'm 40 points off the mark right now. But we can fix this. This is fixable. Tempting. Alternatively, like, what's the damage on these things? At quality 3 though, mind. Producing these at quality 3 could be an absolute blast. Who's not going to want a meta gem? But if the price of Q2s and Q3s ends up being wild, then Does using higher rank herbs in experimentation in alchemy increase the odds of getting new recipes? No. Using higher quality materials in alchemy only leads to finding higher quality potions and or flasks from that experimentation. It doesn't increase the odds of finding a new recipe, no. There were some alchemy changes which... Have they gone live already? Do we know if they've gone live already? Wowhead reported on them. Do we know if they've gone live already? Alchemy Profession hotfix is now live 13 hours ago. Well, there we go. Here are the changes in more detail. Cauldron now has 80 charges, up from 40. Neither of the cauldrons cost Artisan security to make them. Coreway catalysts have increased up to 40 from 25. Nobody cares. These have gone up to 5 from 3. Nobody cares. Okay, well this is a big win for whoever in your guild is responsible for doing these. Meticulous experimentation cooldown has been decreased to 20 hours. I thought they said they were going to increase it. And Coreway catalyst has been upped to 6. It was 4. Okay, sure. No data has been discovered about how much the success or failure rate has changed on wild experimentation. Well, didn't Blizzard say themselves it's meant to be guaranteed? Wasn't that the point? Oh, actually, yeah, this is nothing like what Blizzard said they were going to do. Wait, hang on. Where's the Blizzard Blue post on this? It's probably going to be a day back, isn't it? Trying to find shit via Wowhead's flipping clickbait spam heaven is outrageously difficult. So what was it Blizzard actually said? Only a day before. They literally said that meticulous experimentation will have its cost and cooldown increased. So actually they've done the exact opposite of what they said they were going to do. So are we led to believe that it doesn't guarantee new recipes? Oh dear. Wild experimentation success and failure chances will be slightly adjusted. So, okay, sure, whatever. The TLDR is you probably should learn recipes a bit easier. Where'd it go? Yeah, meticulous experimentation has not had its cooldown increased. It's actually had it decreased. Oh, no data has been discovered about how much the success failure rate has changed on wild experimentation. Oh, okay. Well, I'll let them off on this one. Okay, so every 20 hours you can learn something new with alchemy if you are willing to use Artisan security to do it. Which personally I cannot recommend, but each to their own. Blizzard has commented on crafting orders being disabled. What did they say? We've identified issues with NPCs and player crafting orders and have taken them offline temporarily as we work on a fix. Oh. Great. Is harmonious horticulture considered a transmute? Figuring out what spec I should put points in to get a higher skill of that craft? No, it's a reagent. It's a reagent. It's not a transmute. It is affected in the same way all the potions and flasks are affected. It uses a whole bunch of the different herbs. And so your skill at using that herb will also increase your skill of crafting harmonious horticulture. NA has some nasty exploits. Yeah, I know. I'm aware of such things. Trying my best not to overly publicize them. First time doing a crafting order, do you have to make it on the order screen? I went to my recipe page and made them, but it doesn't seem to have counted. Oh, no, you do have to do it on the order screen. You have to get the materials together. You have to get your materials together, and when you start order, once you've got your materials together, you've got a create button down here. Sneakily hidden in the corner here, mind. But yeah, once you've got your materials and you've met the requirements, your craft button's down here. How some people have 1,500 or more artisan security. They have spent a lot of time and a lot of gold on doing such. My tailor has about 1,400. My tailor has 2 knowledge books and full profession gear. But it's cost me about 2 million gold to do it. And it wasn't a quick process either. It took me basically all day yesterday, and some. Okay. We're at 840 with some first-time crafts. We will be very close. Let's get some materials then. Do we just do some prospecting? We need to make an inverted prism, which means we need to make one of these. Means we need a null stone. Hang on, we can craft these anyway. Let's get these crafts out of the way. How are we so close here? Oh, it's all vendor trash anyway, this anyway. Decorative lens. I need 3 decorative lenses. Huh. Well, that's convenient. Multi-craft. Oh, you make 2 each. I've suddenly realised why I didn't bother doing the first time craft bonuses, by the way. Because of course you don't get artisan security from them, do you? Whoops. And about 6 months of your life. It feels that way. Welcome in, K-Check. Darkmoon Fair Profession quests no longer give artisan security. Where did we read that? Darkmoon Fair hasn't started until Sunday. Have we got more blue posts? God, it's difficult keeping up with all of this. Okay. Knowledge point tracker weak aura from Zealandia. I've been using this one, trying to not get too distracted by squirrels. But I've been using this one, and this one is very smart. Neat and tidy. Which one's this one's? Moo's knowledge point tracker. This one. Very cool. Can recommend. Can recommend. Apparently I have no auctions up. This is fine. This is why I've been posting everything for 12 hours. Because there's a strong chance you are not going to be able to cancel it. There's a strong chance you won't even see its existence. You just got to hope it sells. A real old school way of doing auction house stuff at the moment, to be honest. The fact that you can't do all of the last 7 years of sweaty goblin meta tactics basically out the window. You got to pick a price, you got to post it on the auction house, and you got to hope it sells. And in some cases, you don't even get an indication to the price of everything that's already on the auction house, because it probably isn't showing you half what's there and what's not there. So even if you just choose to undercut, there might be 5,000 other people that have put stuff on the auction house already at different prices. It is literally the Wild West. It's a little bit wild. That's giving me some more knowledge points, though. What did I say I needed if I wanted to go prospecting? 20, 40, 80, 90. 90 bare minimum. $90 bare minimum on prospecting. 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120. That's if you want to... yeah, see, this is where I don't agree with Craft Sim spec info all the time. Because I suspect... Does it take into consideration the fact that you have to put 10 points in shape? It doesn't consider you have to put 10 points in shaping just to get there in the first place. You've got to put 10 points here before you can get 2 here. Then you've got to put a bunch of points here and you're good, yeah. You only need to do 2 of them to begin with. Alright, well. Am I content with where I am regards to weekly stuff at the very least? On this dude, I think I am. Okay, let's see how our alloys are doing. We're gonna. It's gonna be a lot of dancing around characters at the moment because I'm trying to keep, you know, what's that? You know, trying to keep many plates spinning. Trying to make sure that everything is doing something. And I'm never very good at multitasking anyway. I want to transmute cloth to dust, but I can't even buy the dust. Auctionator is your life hack right now. The default auction house is, yeah, really bad. Really bad. It's amusing to me that something like Auctionator comes through and, oh, we've sold some stuff. See, this is the surprise. You just got to guess what's going on right now. You just got to guess and hope that shit works. Well, clearly sold some stuff then. Yoink. What I don't know is, was that all of my stock? Was that half of my stock? How much was that? Don't know. This still says things. Do I believe that this is a thing? Do I believe these are sales? Apparently there's another 200k on its way. Apparently it believes there's 500,000 of core alloys still listed somewhere. Who knows? Who knows? How did you get your second 560 cash for the knowledge book? It's easy to get the first, but how the second? Wait, what? All the quests in the zone is like 4k. Well, that's going to be loads then. That's going to be loads. Yeah, I've not done a huge amount of the Kej farming. That's still some of the areas where I've been slacking. Oh, you're referring to then for the 2 professions on your character, aren't you? That confused me for a second then. I was like, there's only 1 knowledge book, but you're referring to the fact that you've got 2 professions on your character, of course. Yeah, you are just going to have to do the quests in the zone and or do the easy process on alts or something. Honestly, Kej is one of those things that if you just play through the zone a little bit, now that the weekly stuff is open as well, you'll end up being flooded with it, I think, pretty quickly. Just had some Patron orders expire over on the US and some new ones have spawned only 10 minutes later with a 12-hour duration. Get going. Get going. Yeah, I do. They originally said that they were going to work on the work order type cadence. But I think with all of the bugs and everything with it, they've had to turn them on and turn them off and turn them on and turn them off again. It's completely messed up a whole bunch of their timers. And I do think the best practice is just quite literally to keep your eyes on them, honestly. Keep your eyes on them because check them every few hours because there's a chance they just randomly change on you. Nothing like a reliable... I mean, if there isn't enough levels of random with the patron order system as it stands, why not add an extra layer of random with them randomly changing? You gotta be kidding me, right? I'm not paying 20k for 10 artisan security. That's tragic. That's tragic. In fairness, I get 15 because no, we're not paying 20k for that. Get bent. Why has this dude only got 23 artisan security as well? Where's that gone? I don't know. I'm losing track of this. Do we make some more ingots? Should we make some more? We've clearly sold a whole bunch of stuff. Does the TSM graph look better now? It's thinking about it. It's thinking about it. Okay, well, nothing's expired. I don't have anything to relist at least. If Bismuth ore is ludicrously expensive, we'll move on to something else. If we can buy some Bismuth ore at a reasonable price. Look at the quantities. The entire auction house of Bismuth has just been obliterated today. You know what's been happening, I think? Well, in fact, I know exactly what's happening. So much Bismuth has been consumed in the last 24 hours because of alloys and every man and their dog shuffling it into flipping storm dust that it's just blitzed the supplies. There was over 1 million Bismuth ore on the auction house earlier. I wonder what's going on with the quality 2. It's interesting that the quality 2 is just kind of sitting there because everybody's buying either quality 1 or they're buying quality 3. It's really weird how the quality 2 is just like chilling. Hammer time. Yeah. But the theory goes is if the price gets pushed too far, then even the storm dust isn't a winning strategy. Is the return in Bismuth profession quest up? Somebody wiped Q1 storm dust off the auction house because of the weekly quest. There's not anything like that with Bismuth, no. It's just purely being consumed much faster than it's being farmed, I think, at the moment. If I was to actually, say, buy 10,000 of this stuff, or 10,000 of it, the question is it there? Oh god, I think it was. Yeah, you can see it's not actually there, look. Half of this isn't actually there. It's gone up to 56. So all of this here doesn't actually exist. This is all like ghost auctions. None of this exists, right? None of this is actually here. Absolutely none of this is here. You got to get to 56 before you actually find auctions that exist. All of this is dead. None of this exists. So it's probably a little bit under, a little bit round here. Maybe this lot is here. This is the problem. You can't even easily see or figure out your prices. Which is why, for now, I'm very tempted to just let it be. I've clearly been able to craft a bunch and sell a bunch, but with not really knowing what the prices of everything are, it's kind of like pissing in the dark. Game's becoming a meme. What do you mean becoming? Becoming a meme. Becoming a meme. Sold 4 million of stuff, but didn't know until 5 hours later. See, this is it, right? You've got no clue. You've genuinely got no clue. Everybody's walking around the auction house with blindfolds on, hoping that they bump into somebody that wants something. Okay, well, a bunch of stuff's expired at least. At least that gives me some stuff to put back on the auction house. Question is what price do we put it on the auction house for? That's a big question. Seeing a lot more druid gatherers last night. Oh, you will do. Now the game's widely open to the masses. You absolutely will do. So what do we got? We got some weavercloth bolts. We got some spools of dawn thread. What's this stuff valued at right now? 400 a piece. That sounds pretty competitively priced. I'm not going to throw it all up on the auction house. Put it up for 12 hours because I might never see it again. Well, that's clearly a bait, isn't it? Still at around the 140, 150 mark. Let's put it in there. Let's see if we get any ding 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 dings going on. Exquisite weavercloth bolts. These are probably big business today. It claims I've got some on the auction house already right here. Not sure I believe it. See if we can snag a few sales. See if these are true. Oh, what we got here? Spool of dusk thread as well. What? What is that for an undercut? What is that for an undercut? That's quite funny. Did we play that game? I can't remember how much it cost me to get these spools of dusk thread. That seems wildly... Although it's 664 gold a piece, that was scam level prices. I'm going to post one here. Just out of curiosity. I bought 30k worth of weaver cloth and the game took 41k for it. Taxes. Tax the rich. Tax the rich. Tax the rich. Tax the plenty. These threads feel like a bit of a meme anyway, because why would you buy spools of dawn thread or spools of dusk thread, really? They're arguably going to go into, where are they, these things? Sure. But these are a cooldown thing. And I suppose if people want to be guaranteeing top quality Dawnweave bolts with their cooldowns, they are going to have to buy them, aren't they?
Let's make sweet, sweet profit together.
What do Dawnweave bolts look like, price-wise? Not that I can craft them, I'm just intrigued at what the market's doing. Or maybe doing. Neo Stigma with a tier 1, thank you, appreciate it. Managed to break something else in the game apart from the auction house. I can see all instances in the queue. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means, but it sounds broken. So, 8 times... How are people doing these on the cheap then? Is this a likelihood of using concentration on these? This is probably what's happening, right? So, people are taking quality 2 exquisites, quality 2 spools, and then they're using concentration. So that's what? A crafting cost of what? 8 times for 320 gold plus... Yeah, people are taking quality 2s and they're using concentration to make the quality 3s, which is why these are much cheaper than if you were to buy 8 times 4, which is 32 by itself. Oh no, because this makes 2 as well, isn't it? I've just realised these all make 2. So even if you're guaranteeing quality 3s, you're doubling your money on these because you make 2 of them, aren't you? It's probably 4,000 gold to cost it using top quality components. Probably less though, because if you're doing this, there's a good chance you're unraveling your dawn thread yourself. Where's Boofy when I need him? Is he lurking? Boofy, Golden, Zanzaful. Where's all my tailors at? Where's all my professional tailors? Makes sense since it already has the daily cooldown, so might as well use concentration with it. True. See, this is it, right? I wonder how this is going to work, because, you know, the markets for quality 3 exquisite might not be very strong for this, because these people are just going to use concentration anyway. Rank 3s with concentrations pretty fast to set up for both of those. Rank 3s is then only going to be used for the gear. Yeah, so the spools of Dawn Thread at rank 3 are unlikely to sell very much. Even though the quantity-wise there's plenty of them. These, though, on the other hand, exquisite bolts at quality 3, I think is going to see an awful lot of use. Which is why I've sort of spec'd my tailor in that direction. Because when you look at just how many crafts it goes into, all the profession gear, well, that's the basic shit, nobody cares about the basic shit, but
Let's make sweet, sweet
any
profit
piece of
together.
gear here is likely to want exquisite weaver cloth bolts at quality 3. Any top tier profession gear is going to need exquisite bolts at quality 3. Spell threads. Loads. Look at the locations where you might want this at quality 3. The PvP gear. Yeah, crafting this at quality 3 could be fun. Or at least I'm hoping it will be. I haven't done my numbers today to see if it's actually worth. What's somewhat frustrating me is I've not been hearing any ding ding dings in the background of this stuff selling, which makes me think the prices that we see on the auction house right now are just a lie. Airy with the Prime, thank you very much, I appreciate it. Welcome in this evening. I say this evening, it is like 6:30 in the evening for me. It's probably not for you lot. It's probably still middle of the afternoon or something. It is selling, but it's not showing, nor is it dinging. Is it literally not doing anything? You're just having to pray. Look at the time left on these. Oh no. Oh no. It's all going horribly wrong. Oh, 8 AM for you, okay. Oh, you're Team NA, I see. Oh, Team NA's getting out of bed, that's what's going on. Now I understand. I'm posting things with Auctionator and well above the predicted price, and it's still saying in my chat that it's selling almost instantly. Yeah, the prices for some of this I think is all over the shop. Better be charged the full deposit fee on that 40,000 plus days. Oh, please don't. Please don't. Please don't. So yeah, I mean, I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place with what to do, mostly because I kind of want to be playing around with these professions and I want to be making gold with them. But the truth be told is, without being able to, like, see what the hell's going on, it's very risky.
My directive has been fulfilled.
It's very risky. I think I'm just going to have to do some questing and stuff, you know. I think we're going to have to, you know, refer back to basics. I'm almost tempted to go do some farming, you know. I know how ridiculous that sounds, but I need to get a herbalist and miner leveled. But I got quests to do. Let's get some Lore Master stuff done. Let's finish all of the quests in the Isle of Dawn. I love this zone. NA has no auction house right now. Yeah, it's like, we've seen this before. We've seen the first few days of an expansion, the auction house just crumbles. It's really nothing new. It's kind of frustrating, but it's also really nothing new. So got loads of quests to do out here. My Renown is shocking, by the way. This is why I need to throw some effort at this, because it's not good. When you have a moment, check the image I sent you on Discord. You can randomly queue. Okay, that's not meant to happen. Yeah, mine doesn't do that. Mine doesn't show every expansion's option possible. That's quite funny. There's new campaign chapters to do as well, which I haven't actually even finished. It's been a few days since I've actually stepped outside of Dornogal, to be fair. I've been pretty heavy hardcore leveling professions the last few days. But with a dead auction house, I'm left with no choice but to go outside. Go outside into the real world. Hello? Oh yeah, of course.
Speak your piece. I'll contemplate what we talked about.
I attend to the archive.
I need to do a rare sweep as well. What's the consensus on renowned grinding? Renown grinding. Are we saying that rares are probably quite a high priority? Have we also decided whether rares are daily, weekly, monthly, one time only? What have we decided on that one? I'm pretty sure they're meant to be weekly. Rares are weekly. Okay. If rares are weekly, it should go quite high on the list of things to do, shouldn't it? Weekly, but not all of the rares are dropping rep. Of course not. Of course not. Sure. What we got in here? Have I not picked up my treasures properly on this dude even? Have I been that much of a filthy casual on this character that I've not even gone and got my treasures? I clearly must not have done. Some are weekly, some are daily. He's renowned 12 with all. Missed 12 with the Ringing Deeps by 2 rares. Oof. That hurts. Oof. Big ouch. If people are missing it by like skinny amounts, then that's a strong indication to me that I've got absolutely no chance of hitting it this week. I might need to pencil that in as something I definitely make sure we get done before the end of the week. It's no rush if there's no chance for me to get to 12. If I could hit the thresholds by just doing it this week, I'd do it now, but I've got time. I've got time. I tell you what though, it's, what is it? It's Thursday, right? It's Thursday afternoon and the auction house is this chaos. I don't even want to know how bad the auction house is going to be at the weekend. It's going to be wild. I am not sure that it's going to like be online at all. I predict it's just going to be flat out at the weekend. I can't, if it can't stay functional on a Thursday afternoon, it's done at the weekend. Yeah, next Wednesday is going to be something special. It's so odd at the like early access has broken my brain because I kind of forget that it's the second day of the expansion. Like, I feel as if I've been this always happens partly because of playing on the beta so much anyway, but it feels like I've already been playing this game for like months. But we're technically on like day 2. Where are these sand piles then? Oh, bit of dirt. Early access was so much smoother compared to full launch. You're right, it certainly was. Did you burn yourself out on beta? Well, the way I do my content, you know, I mean, you guys watched me play beta an awful lot. Like, I'm not actually out there playing the game like the game is live. Some people play the beta like the game is just up and running and that they can do everything and that progression is kept and they try and do everything. I can't do that. I can't do that at all. When I do beta, I'm often doing something very specific, and I'll do that very specific thing a handful of times to break it down and figure stuff out. For that reason, like, the beta feels very different to when the game actually goes live. I still get that kind of pre-launch hype. I still get that kind of excitement from when the game goes live. It doesn't feel like I'm playing beta. It's still nice that I'm getting to keep the progress, I guess, is what I'm trying to get at here. How and what the hell are we doing with this one? Collect a power cell. Oh. Why do they keep disappearing? Oh, there we go. Imagine they just say fuck it and bring back the non-region wide auction house. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? Right, we're gonna make everything server based until further notice. I don't think they'd do that. They'd have to. I mean, we were talking about this in Zan's stream earlier today. At the very least, the auction house. Sorry, Team NA. But on Team EU, at least the auction house is mostly open. I wouldn't necessarily say it's completely functional, but at least it's open. We've had entire days where the auction house is just switched off at launches before. So we're still kind of doing all right. And if Blizzard can ramp up the hamsters, I'm sure we'll be fine. But it's still a bit crazy. I do not understand this quest. Stand in this exact location to get it to appear. I've done this already. I hope maintenance fixes it tonight. It'd be good if it did. Alright, I find this totally unacceptable. I mean, it should be better, shouldn't it? It's difficult because none of us probably really understand what the hell's going on with the servers. But at the same time, it happens every time. Blizzard clearly don't learn from this. Surprise, surprise, 2 days into the expansion, there's a shitload of traffic on the auction house. Why have they not ramped up server farms? Why have they not, like, pre-feed the hamsters protein shakes or something? Get you know. They've plenty of experience doing this before. They don't know how, I guess. Exact same issues, I know. Even like the bait auction thing. People posting like one item at like 10 gold below deep, like to snag people posting things cheap. They've already fixed that. They fixed that problem once before. They created a system that if you undercut more than 5%, it hides your auction for about 30 seconds when you post it, but still allows it to be bought by people. In essence, removing the bait system. So if somebody comes in, your auction's not there, and if it's a high traffic material, the chances are the bait auction gets bought before anybody even sees it's there, so nobody gets scammed by it. They fixed this problem once. They've already fixed it, and I don't know why that's not switched on, and I don't know why they're not using it. Why would you develop this system that did a reasonable enough job of fixing the issue, but then not use it at the beginning of an expansion? I don't get it. What I really don't get is this goddamn quest. Ah! Zygo was telling me to go to the wrong spot. I found the second power cell. Oh, what? There's another one? Oh, no. How am I meant to do this without Zygo telling me where we're going? What am I missing here? Oh, is this thing meant to... Ah, the little radar fella. Clever. It didn't stop people from trying to bait. Oh yeah, I mean, this is why they probably didn't publicize that little fix too heavily, because of course they're playing a game of cat and mouse with these players anyway. So a lot of these players are probably botting. I mean, if you're gonna do nefarious things, you might as well do you know, go the whole hog. If you're going to do scumbag tactics, you might as well go as far as to then also bot, you know. I think that the correlation between the kind of players that will actively try and scam others in the game are also probably not far different from the people that will run a bot farm 24 hours a day, you know, making them free golden herbs and whatever. So... I'm hoping, I mean, you would also hope that Blizzard would use this data of hiding the auctions as a way to say, you're a bad actor. How about we just nuke your account or give you a 7-day ban, 14-day ban for the hype periods? You know, teach, even if it is, quote unquote, legitimate players doing it. I think most companies are way too soft with their customer service these days. On the other hand, sometimes I think I'm a little bit harsh. But I think Argent Dawn may be flat out crashing now. Is it getting that bad? Well, we can hope. We can hope it all stays well. Realistically, the auction house is busted, right? We can definitely tell the auction house is busted. But at least there's plenty of other things to be doing. I mean, I could be running delves right now. I could be running I could be doing nearly anything in the game, you know. I want to be playing around with the auction house, but so does everybody else. That's why it doesn't work. Guessing I'm waiting for something to spawn. Sargassum Guardian. Some gathering incoming. I kind of need to. Oh shit, we're being attacked. I do kind of need to do some gathering. It's something I want to keep ahead of, because in Dragonflight, it wasn't heavily documented very well on streams or on YouTube or most places, really. Which is odd, because it's kind of a given that... I don't really know why. I think a lot of the farmers were particularly more focused on 2x4 farming. You know, the student crew were probably more focused on 2x4 farming. That got a lot of focus and attention. There was people like myself who would focus a lot more on the crafting side of stuff. I didn't really see much content out there highlighting gathering, but I know for a fact that there were people that did focus on farming and were making just silly money. Like 80k an hour without even really trying kind of money. And when you can achieve that with basically zero risk, other than spending time, which isn't really that much of a risk if you're happy with the result that you get out of it. That is a bit mental. And that was conservative numbers as well. People who knew what they were doing at the beginning of Dragonflight were in easy 6-figure territory. 'Cause, I mean, 80k an hour without even really trying kind of money. And when you can achieve that with basically zero risk, other than spending time, which isn't really that much of a risk if you're happy with the result that you get out of it. That is a bit mental. And that was conservative numbers as well. People who knew what they were doing at the beginning of Dragonflight were in easy 6-figure territory. And for a long time as well. Gathering is rough because you're competing with bots. I know it's frustrating that a bot is doing the same thing as you are doing, but the reality is you're not competing that heavily, especially not at this period in the expansion. Right now, when materials are not being farmed fast enough to meet demand, today is the first day where demand has really showed its face. You know, there's people being able to get their first spark has really triggered a bunch of people to go out there and make a piece of gear. Surprise, surprise. Whether they're crafting it for themselves or whatever the case may be, they're likely looking at getting some of the higher quality materials. This is why we've seen alloys go boom. We've seen we've seen top tier bolts go boom. We've seen a lot of things. A lot of the intermediate materials see sudden demand. What's happened is that is absolutely stripped the entire market for some materials. Now, it's not very convenient that it's happened on a day when the auction house is also completely broken, but the bismuth supply has been absolutely ruined today, presumably because a lot of it is needed to make alloys. And this is a pattern that will repeat itself a lot over the next few weeks. Every time a new wave of demand comes, early access, people were complaining in early access that they were farming and they weren't able to make more than like 20k gold an hour. That's because nobody was buying anything. Nobody really needed anything. People needed some materials for leveling their professions, which did cause a bit of demand, yes. But the real demand doesn't kick in until people start doing industrial level shit. Now that people are able to start guaranteeing quality 3 on a bunch of crafts, now we're really seeing those players hoover the materials up really fast. And this is where those players who are already got their gatherers set up, already have their laps in place, already have their routes sorted, are gonna week on week see pretty steady results, I think. Rank 1 Storm Dust, 170 gold apiece. It doesn't surprise me at all. Three-star Bismuth, 250 gold apiece. It was 300 plus earlier. It was way more than 300 plus. It was nearly 400 gold apiece earlier.
Returning to task. Goodbye.
And with quality 3 materials being more difficult to farm, way more open for people to do resets as well. Because goblins know that they can reset a market, and it's going to be a little while before that market fixes itself. Because people can't just easily go out and just quickly farm up 10,000 herbs, you know? Especially not at high quality. I see people advertising materials in trade chat. Yeah, because the auction house is useless. That's quite funny though. Going real old school. Face-to-face trades. Adapt, improve, overcome, exactly. Buddy and I both made about 1.5 mil gold during early access on profession equipment. Once full launch came around, the price of each equipment piece dropped from our price of 20 to 25k down to 5 to 6k, and we stopped turning a profit. We're back gathering ore right now. Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds what I'd have expected to have happened. You'll get a second wave though. If you've put yourself in a good position to make that profession gear, presumably if you were looking at making the basic green gear at quality 5 as well, you would have probably put some spec points into it. You're also now in a prime position to rotate into the rare tools. So when all those crafters then in a few days' time look at upgrading those greens to blues, they're going to be coming back to you, but this time via work orders. It's not as scalable as greens. You can't, you know, produce a bunch of them up front and log out, but that's the natural path. You may not necessarily need to go back to gathering unless you kind of absolutely want to.
The cohorts are vandalizing and pillaging Morning Rise again. Please stop them any way you can.
If you do go do some herbing and mining, I recommend Ashgare in general or Hallowfall if you want some place with less mobs and more light. The only problem with me in farming is it literally sends me to sleep. I'm not very competent in farming. I know a lot of people use it as like a background activity whilst they've got Netflix on another screen or something like that. But I've never really been able to do that. If I'm watching Netflix, I'm watching Netflix. I'm not watching my screen listening to Netflix. My wife has the ability to do exactly that. She can put Netflix on and then go in the next room and do something completely different. And I'm like, what is going on here? If I put a program on to watch, I'm watching the program. And if it doesn't hold my attention, it's a shit program and I turn it off. So the gathering for me has to be a primary focus activity. And I just don't have the attention span for it, I don't know. I watched the first 3 series of Brooklyn 99 whilst farming. See, some people can get away with it. You guys have got a hidden skill that I don't possess. I have to stick to crafting and I have to stick to the auction house.
Speak freely. No directive needed. May all paths be open to you.
My guess with the True Sight Vial, I average about 60 to 70k. Well, there you go. See?
May
winning.
your choices return you here.
You only need to do that for like 5 hours and you've got your month of game time sorted. Job done. Let me go grab a drink real quickly. I said this earlier at the beginning of the stream. I hadn't even planned to stream this evening, but Zanzaful insisted, so blame Zan. We'll be back in 2. Okay, we're back. I have a drink. And I have a bag of nuts. So we can nom on some nuts while we play. Although I can't get into my nut sack. Some blackwood nuts, yeah. Yeah, insert all these nuts jokes. Mmm. Do you know any dark techniques to get my items off the auction house? No. The rule today is if you post it on the auction house, be prepared for it to be there till it either sells or expires. Else there's not a lot you can do about it. Where's this dude? Where are you going? Where are you going, fella? Invested into Feasts of the Divine Day, best to hold until the raid release. Oh, gold. I wouldn't have been buying them yet. Maybe the early bird catches the feast. Yeah, the demand for those won't be until people start pushing content, really. Mythic Plus season, raid season. I suspect. Workmaster Nast. Where are you then? There you are. Oh no, that was your friend. Had a weird bug telling me my items would return in. Yeah. The auction house is broken. Honestly, your best option with the auction house right now is just staying away from it. Let it work its course. Keep yourself busy doing something else. You can still keep yourself relatively optimal even if you're trying to do gold making. You can still be out there farming if you really want to. You can be getting your Renown done. You can be getting your rares killed. Getting Lore Master finished. You know, these are all things that are things to tick off the list. If my nut nomming is coming through the microphone too much, I apologise, but I apologise, but I'm not going to do anything about it.
Tell me, what drives you? Our lives are our own.
Oh, the what do you calls it is on. You can always tell when it's 1 minute past the hour. The zone lags. Where am I going? Totally the wrong way.
Let's stock up while they're occupied.
I think I've only done this theatre thing once. And then it didn't work properly. Are the rewards from this any good? There's a couple of recipes that are pretty valuable, aren't there, for me? Are they ones where you need the recipe for it? You need the profession for it, or is it open season? There's a quest, isn't there, I need to pick up, actually.
Welcome, Outlander. Follow no directives but your
Bit of
own.
council rep, sure.
We've been rehearsing for just this moment. Time to seize it.
Lucky plant touched. Wait, that's not even in the arena.
a show without the cast and the crew. Help them out.
Conversation reluctantly initiated.
Oh, no, we're not happy. Let's give him a slap. Just started the War Within on a new alt, and Inscription unlocked Patron orders at skill 1. I remember it unlocked at 65 on my other alts. Do you think Blizzard made it a warband unlock after reaching a certain skill on any character? Also possible. Very possible. I mean, that would lead very nicely for the alt armies, wouldn't it? Very possible.
It's our directive to keep this venue spotless for our audience.
What are people thinking of this little event, though? I mean, I tested this a little bit on the beta. One thing I thought was that it was quite a novel experience, but I simultaneously didn't think that it was very repeatable, which worries me, because apparently these rewards you can earn every time, right? Kind of in the same vein as rifts and super blooms, that you're gonna have to do the damn thing 500 times. Even though the quest is like weekly, I think there's still some value in grinding it, right? It's basically just the cooking event juiced up. That's what it feels like, yeah. Weekly treasure drop is 1 times 2. Well, there's two items you need to collect. The amount of knowledge points they give you is different for the professions, but it's two treasures you need to find, yeah. Is there a reliable way to get rank 3 herbs, or do you still need blue crafted gear? Gatherers don't have as much of a reliance on the gear, but they still definitely need it. Gatherers are probably, dare I say, if you're going to spend Artisan security. My recommendation for crafters, oh, that's actually a player. My crafters has always been to get the tools first. I'm not so sure that advice is the best advice for gatherers. Where I think getting the knowledge points to put in your spectries might actually be more valuable, but it depends on how this catch-up system works. I know on Team NA it was broken and it was switched on like permanently. Some people grinded out their herbalism, mining, skinning and enchanting to like stupid levels in a few hours. Here's to hoping that they fix that, but
under my leadership, the Earthen shall reach their full potential. I command you to celebrate my arrival.
I'm an expert actor, apparently. That's lies. I'm not even on camera, assuming. There was a post on Reddit. Somebody got like 65 knowledge points after the reset. God.
I decree that you shall triple your production.
What the fuck is going on here?
Hunt you down the core way.
One thing I do know categorically is it has nuked my frame rate. Are we just dodging this? We must just be dodging it, right? Stay away from the orbs. Are we meant to be killing this? This is like billions of health. Surely we... What's going on?
What is he doing? Knows no bounds. I have been
Functional's toasted completely. It's done. It's it is well done. Stick a fork in it. It is cremated. Yeah, sorry, to elaborate on my gathering question. Rank 3 anything via gathering is not easy to do. So you want to gain all the advantages you can, really. But early knowledge points, pushing you deeper into the spec trees, giving you a greater chance to get some of the perks that the spec trees offer, might actually be slightly more valuable than getting your tools in order. Not to mention, as a gatherer, buying your tools is kind of counterproductive, because it could cost you an hour or two's worth of actual gathering just to, you know, get your tool. Where if you buy your knowledge point books, they're free. That said, I'm not entirely sure how much natural gatherers are going to have artisan acuity wise, because your generation of the stuff is pretty slim. I spent some to unlock flying whilst mining. Got just enough with one book, all the treasures and weeklies. It's definitely a way to do it. He doesn't seem to be coming to the portal, this fella. Is it moving? I don't think it is it? Oh, are we good? That was one heavy stony.
Let's make sweet, sweet profit together.
Hey, dressed here with the gifty subs. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Enjoy your little flappy pigeon. Thank you, thank you.
Is that your wallet?
Did it reset?
Are you just glad to see me? Both, I hope.
It's just reset, hasn't it? Do I keep my rewards? Oh, well, I'll keep these. But it's not going to have given me completion for the thing. Great, okay. Well, I guess we come back next hour then. What do we get? Harbinger crests, resonance crystals. Same again. Same again. Oh, wow, okay. I'm sure there's some goodies to be had out of that, but hashtag never lucky. I went down the bountiful harvest tree for a better chance to craft rank 3, running into the problem of getting rank 3 herbs. I cannot wait until everybody starts needing these rank 3 materials to see what happens to the price. It's interesting because a lot of people are probably looking at the auction house and thinking that these rank 3 materials are expensive because they're like 2 or 3 times the price of the quality 2s, or maybe even more. But this is the price of them, or this has been the price of them, when people have been getting a small amount of them drip fed via their professions, but simultaneously nobody's wanted them. Imagine how much they're going to go up to when everybody stops farming because Mythic Plus turns up and the raid turns up. And at the very same time, every man and their dog wants everything at quality 3 all of a sudden. I mean, that is literally a recipe for quadrupling of prices. Because what's going to stop it? Most people spend the first couple of weeks of an expansion milling around, just doing random bits and bobs. It only takes 10% of the player base to randomly spend an hour a day doing some herbing and mining to produce a lot of materials, even before we start pointing the finger at bots. But as soon as that percentage of the player base goes and does the thing they actually want to do, and stops doing that little bit of fishing, that little bit of mining, that little bit of herbalism, whatever, crafters are, like, you know, seasoned gatherers are going to be, A, the only ones that are picking up the slack, and B, claiming all the profits on those Q3s that everybody all of a sudden wants. I can't wait. It's going to be really funny. I don't know how to approach this, though. There's part of me that starts thinking about, do we start buying some of these materials, squirrel them away? I was intrigued what Zan was doing. I know he's lurking around here. With his storm dust, for example. Some of you may have seen. If you haven't, go check out Zan's YouTube. He's got a couple of videos over the last few days on sort of a little production system, a little factory of producing some stuff with blacksmithing before smushing it into enchanting components. And as far as it goes, for the most part, that seems to be where he's stopped his production line. Oh, there he is. But enchanting is interesting this time round because there is more you could do with it. If I was doing that right now, and I'm not because I'm out doing some questing because I'm lazy, but I would be squirreling away all of the quality 3 dust, shards, crystals. I know they look attractive in terms of price right now, but the potential explosion of these materials could be on a level we have not seen really much before. Do I want to do this delve? Is this a bountiful delve? Wait, hang on. We'll come back to that in a minute. Somebody was saying that there's an optimal way to use these keys. I am the least optimal player when it comes to this sort of content. Can I just use the keys? $88 million to reset rank 3 Storm Dust? But how much actually is it? Like, talk quantities. What's because Storm Dust at quality 3, it's probably what, 400-500 gold a piece? But how much actually is it? 158,000? 158k is a reasonable amount. But don't forget, nearly every single enchant of any quality is going to consume between, what, 30 to 50 Storm Dust? This is going to mean very quickly that players are going to have to start to either accept ludicrous quality 3 prices, because if you're paying 500 gold a piece today for your Q3 Storm Dust, with everybody smushing and crushing and disenchanting like crazy, not to mention there's a huge influx of like leveling greens, profession crafted greens at the moment. Huge influx because of everybody leveling.
Our forged paths intertwined.
I refer to my previous statement. When everybody pisses off and stops doing all of this and goes and runs Mythic Plus instead,
Our lives are our own.
where's it all coming from? Quality 3 dust, shards and crystals is not going to exist unless somebody disenchants it. And is it the same for Storm Dust as it is for crystals? That about 1 in 5 ends up being quality 3? Dust can come from Alchemy's thaumaturgy as well. Okay. That leaves crystals and shards then. But you'll only get it from Alchemy if the price is right on those other materials. Let's not forget that the other materials are likely to see heavy demand on them as well. So even Alchemy's conversion process, don't forget it's a lossy process. You lose 50% of your materials when you do it. So it has to be like 2 times worth doing, I think, with thaumaturgy. Correct me if I'm wrong. And obviously you're not guaranteed to land on the material you actually want. So you probably need to allow for a little bit more than a 2x price differential. Cloth into Storm Dust over in Alchemy has been about 100k an hour for the past few days. Has it really? Oh, that's funny. I really should look at doing some Alchemy, shouldn't I? Is disenchanting impacted by enchanting skill? Not to my knowledge. But disenchanting doesn't do a great job, or enchanting in general doesn't do a great job of telling you these things. I'm pretty sure it's just your knowledge point spend that impacts it. But Zanzafal's in here. Ask him. He's been doing it for days. Oh, your skill and knowledge points. So your base profession skill also matters. So 100 skill is going to do better than 25. Okay. Oh, well, there you go then. You're also going to have to level your enchanter. Which, getting it to 100 is no easy feat, because, how'd you get enchanting to 100? It's basically weapon enchants, isn't it? Big boy weapon enchants if you want guaranteed points. Easy but expensive.
Our lives are our own.
I'm gonna have to stop eating these mixed nuts. I'll give myself cyanide poisoning or something. Is it cyanide that's in peanuts? If you eat too many peanuts, you die. Or have I made that up? Was that bananas? Oh, I can't remember. Almonds. Oh, Brazil. No, I don't know. Something. Selenium can poison you. See, I always knew fruit was bad for you. I've been telling people this for years. Right, what are we doing? Clicking veins of ore. Collect charged cores. Pew pew you. Oh, pew pew you. Pew pew you. My trade chat is still getting spammed with want to buy all BOE greens, 400 gold. If you can get somebody to do the hard work for you. The problem is people aren't going to be able to produce them at that price, really. I don't think. I think probably the cheapest way is still, even with Bismuth doing crazy things, I think the cheapest profession tool to make is still going to be that single core blacksmith hammer. But if Bismuth starts doing silly things, it could get even more expensive to craft those. I don't know if there's a close second contender from any other profession. Leatherworking maybe, if the cloth gets cheap enough. Microplastics is going to kill us all. You don't need to worry about a dozen nuts. Alright, fair. Tailoring cuffs, is that another close candidate? Okay. Oh, disenchanting is impacted by skill. You get about a 33, 33, 33 split when you're maxed out with everything. Okay. Who put a tree there? There's nothing to pew pew. Babies are already being born with microplastics in their blood. We're all doomed. Oh, God. It's a scary thought. Imagine if your mum had large amounts of plastic surgery then. You're going to be full of silicone and microplastics. Oh, hang on. This is the quest line. Do these two NPCs still get stuck in the floor? I bet they do, don't they? I bet they do. Is he not? Is he going to walk up the stairs?
Brought you here.
Odds on this being still broken.
Let's commit our meeting to memory. Returning to task. Bye.
Engineering recipe. Well, that's highly not useful.
May your choices return you here.
Oh, no, wait, hang on. You want ore. What we got? We got ore, we got pile of coal, and we got charged core. Focus now. Toss in some coal. More coal. I haven't got the camera on today, but I've got serious concentration face on the go. More coal. More coal. I think we've got enough coal in there now, fella. There we go.
Speak
Beautiful.
freely. No directive needed. Follow no directives but your own.
What were roughly the amounts of artisan security from the enchanting and engineering flips? 110-ish from enchanting, 150-ish from engineering, roughly, give or take. Combined, it's about 250. It's combined. It's not quite. Maybe if you squeeze some patron orders in there as well, if you do them both, you might get one tool or like enough to buy one thing. I think roughly. I didn't actually track. I've done a whole bunch of this over the last few days, but I didn't really track it all that much. I just kind of looked at my total and kept doing it until the total was good enough. It's a bit of a sunk cost fallacy once you begin doing it. You kind of like realise that, well, I have to keep going now. I've started and so I need to finish. But it has meant that I'm in a much better position on a bunch of my alts this week now. It should be within reach for me to get my profession level to 100 and blue crafting gear in all slots, which should hopefully give me options. You know, if one market tanks, one market dies and crashes, I can just flip onto another character and do something different. It's not been cheap though, mind.
Our forged paths intertwine.
I've so far resisted doing an alchemy shuffle at all on any of my characters. I'm kind of keeping that as an ace up my sleeve in case I need it.
Communication in... Oh, sorry. Hello.
I also am led to believe the alchemy shuffle's the most expensive, so... Although, if they have made some subtle changes to the discovery, might be made a little easier, who knows.
The charged silt from these clashing elementals are packed with
At what point does enchanting give acuity? Only some no, first time crafts from trainer recipes don't give you artisan security at all. You only get first time craft bonuses from recipes that you've either purchased or come from like your Spectre or something, for example. Trainer taught recipes, no artisan security. You still want to do them for knowledge points, mind. You want to get your first time crafts done. They're still just as important, but you're just not doing them for the acuity this time round. How'd you get acuity then? Well, your weekly knowledge points is probably the primary source. Doing your weekly profession activities and patron orders is the big one. Blizzard have put quite a lot of weight onto these patron orders. A little frustrating in these early days as they're quite expensive to fill or to complete in many cases, because you're either going to well, it depends on how you want to play with your professions. You probably want to save most of your concentration for your patron orders, because something will turn up in a patron order that looks really attractive, and you're going to feel really bad if you've run out of concentration and need it to craft it. So I'm kind of I'm keeping at least half my concentration just purely for filling orders. And honestly, I'm only using concentration to craft something if it's really valuable to do. That's the like for me, that's the alt army, or that's the long game. when we're a few months into the expansion and all the prices are rock bottom, then utilizing concentration to make a few thousand gold per character a day might be the attractive way of doing it. Right now, though, there's way more better things you could be using it on. Some more flowers. Oh, there's one. Oh, you've hit Renown 12? Nice, congrats. That's a big milestone. 12 and 14, isn't it? 12 for... Is it Hallowfall that requires 14? I can't remember. I am nowhere near. I'm not even I'm only just halfway there. I got to finish lore mastering the zones. I got to then get all the rares down. Does it act as catch up as if you don't do patron orders, they'll carry over the knowledge point wise next week? Well, this is what they said. I don't know though. I actually thought that the glimmers well, actually maybe it's that glimmers are maybe the weekly ones that you can pick up weekly, and maybe the game provides X amount of glimmers to you via patron orders per week. There's also flickers, which are single knowledge point ones, which I haven't seen any of so far. Maybe it's that the flickers become the catch-up, and they're dished out more liberally if you are behind the curve. And so hence why everybody is seeing the glimmers right now, because they're the more traditional weekly knowledge gains. It's really difficult to know for definite, because the beta didn't tell us. The beta never gave us this information, because the beta was kind of always in a permanent state of catch-up, regardless.
Welcome, Outlander. Journey far and safe. Returning to task. Goodbye.
Song name. There you go. In and Out of Love, Armin van Buren.
Follow no directives but your own.
Would that mean that some of your slots will be replaced by flickers instead of giving you 10 or 30 acuity, actually making it an acuity loss? Don't know. We don't know how it works really. Whether they just dish out more. Is it going to be a situation where they just give people who are in catch-up mode more work orders potentially? Or is it going to be that they get longer to complete them? Or, like I said, we don't really know. We are guessing here. But the fact that there's two different knowledge point items that come from the spec trees, from the patron orders, my thoughts is that, yes, one is your weekly knowledge and the other one is any catch-up knowledge. The Enchanting concentration alts were pretty crazy to begin with, like 150k a day. What, reaching that skill, reaching that quality 2 threshold and then pushing to 3.
Tell me, what drives you?
I wonder if actual proper crafted enchants are doing better today though. since there's clearly started to be some demand for top quality stuff. Definitely bolts and tailoring cloth and alloys and stuff have seen a big spike today. Do treasures give acuity? One-time treasures, no. But the weekly treasures, yes. Nothing is ever simple with Blizzard. Is it somehow possible with thaumaturgy to produce tier 3 with tier 3? I think thaumaturgy was one of the very few recipes that you could never guarantee at Q3. But that was also likely possibly a bug.
A new
Oh, had I not picked up the quest? Whoops. Q3 thaumaturgy 750 skill. Yeah, I remember it being ludicrously high. That means you've got to be throwing quality 3 materials in it to get 40% of that, but it's whether you can get the rest of the, well, the other 60% from your spec trees, which I vaguely remember wasn't possible.
Our forged paths intertwine.
You make tier 3 with tier 2 and concentration. That's my main alt army's goal. Okay. Oh, hang on. Now the Wi-Fi is actually calling me back again. Back in 2. Alrighty. I've got maybe an hour. What can we get done in an hour? How far through this zone are we? Where's the thing? There it is. No, that's not the one. Been watching your replay, decided to farm all the professions. I'm hoping it's going to pay off, you know. I've tried to be really careful and really clear when I talk about sort of what we've been doing during the early access in the first few days. I've tried to be clear about the fact that there's a lot of speculation in this. An awful lot of like, here's to hoping that spending the gold, the time and the effort, pushing forward with Artisan security, getting that extra knowledge points, getting those tools and stuff all sorted nice and quickly. The speculation and the hope is that, you know, it will be worthwhile eventually because you'll be in a better position than others and have, in theory, better crafting costs than others. The question really is how far towards the front of the race are you, though? That's the thing. It was showcased that even if you crossed the finish line, like yesterday or the day before or the day before that even, which was entirely possible, that you finished so early that there wasn't even any supporters there or anything to cheer you on. It was a bit weird. Zero demand for top quality crafts, even if you could craft them. It wasn't like the entire player base was desperately waiting for people to finish to buy the goodies. Maybe it was the spec directions I chose on a couple of the characters, but it started to pay off today. Today's been the first day where I've seen some positive outcome of doing this.
The kobolds are vandalizing and pillaging Morning Rise again. Please stop them in
So
any way you
we'll
can.
see what happens in the next few days. Any tips for a milling setup? Well,
The charged silt from these clashing elementals are packed with healing.
I think if I
properties.
remember right with
Stock up
Inscription,
while they're occupied.
you kind of have to choose, because it's kind of split into three, I think, if I remember right. You've got milling, you've got ink crafting, and you've got reagent crafting. I'm not convinced you have enough knowledge points to be the jack of all trades in that to begin with. So maybe you start off by being really good at milling. Maybe look at getting something like a resourcefulness tool to then aid your milling. But then be mediocre at making inks and then sell your inks for somebody else to make the reagents with, or some variation of that. So you've almost got three mini subsections just with sort of Inscription, I think, if I remember right.
Tell me what drives you.
It's up to you whether you choose to like maybe look at buying your pigments off somebody else, but be really good at making the inks and really good at making you can go whichever direction you like. I just don't think for season 1 you're likely to be able to do all of it. You might still need the help of other scribes doing milling stuff to begin with. I have actually spec'd into milling and ink crafting on my scribe. That's the only reason I can quote that from memory. I think you need something along the lines of 120 points to be able to be the master of all of it, which is probably not impossible to get right now. But I'm still quite sure you might maybe not be able to do all of it. Not if you're also trying to get your profession tools, probably. I like how Inscription's Darkmoon cards just dropped left and right and Darkmoon decks. It's odd, right? It's really strange. It still feels weird to me that people are actively disenchanting Darkmoon decks because they physically can't sell them and they're that goddamn cheap. It's like, what? Darkmoon decks being expensive and the trinkets being cool has kind of been a staple of the first expansion's patch forever. This is why I was convinced the drop rate was broken and they were going to nerf it and do something about it. But by this point, I'm wondering if they completely meant it. There's part of me that wonders if they were like, well, this is going to be the way that people get crystals before the season starts. Maybe they didn't perceive everybody farming dungeons so aggressively, and maybe they didn't expect 2x4 farmers to go with Inscription. But it didn't take long to figure out on the beta how you were going to get them, considering Inscription didn't craft them. But Dragonflight was super sneaky. I much prefer this method, even though I do think it's odd that Darkmoon decks are basically free and you're just disenchanting them because they're so easy to complete the decks for. While I think that's a bit strange, it's still better than the Dragonflight scenario, where they just kind of rug pulled us. There was no real indication that fishing was going to be the primary way to get the cards, and if you were to actually craft them, it would cost you an arm and a leg in comparison to just fishing the damn things up for free. So I would much rather they be cheap and cheerful and free and easily available to everybody than getting rug pulled for a second expansion in a row. I've sold so many decks, people don't seem to know you can just buy the cards. Maybe not. But they're that cheap, I can't imagine there's many people that are even buying them. It's really weird. Or should I say it's not a case of that many people aren't buying them. They are just way overly abundantly available. 2x4 farmers absolutely printing them. Anybody that leveled up via dungeons just printing them. I mean, running 70 to 80 via dungeons, even with how quick it was, you would end up with like 10, 15, 20 cards by the time you'd done it after running a few dungeons for a few hours. And not that I saw this with my own eyes, but some of the 2x4 farmers were saying they were getting like 120 cards an hour. It is mental. That's like 10 to 15 fully completed decks an hour. To understand just how many of them there are, I used to buy the numbered cards by 100 each and the price didn't even flicker. See, there we go. You can't buy something 100, like by that point it's basically a herb or an ore. But it's a Darkmoon card. It's odd. They can't go above 577 item level, whilst 580 is being considered the standard basic item level for M0 prep. Is that what it is? Is it because they're... Okay. Well, yeah, because we had the Darkmoon deck boxes last expansion, didn't we? And they've canned that idea in favour of turning them into embellishments instead, so that if the power is strong enough, people can still use the embellishment just on a piece of gear of their choosing. So it's weird how like the actual trinket being a trinket is kind of like giga nerfed, and very not useful. But there's still the possibility that if the actual equip bonuses are strong enough, that the sigil embellishments might still be valuable. But most BIS lists are probably out now, I would guess, or at least they are very well coming together. I would imagine you can probably start to see if they're going to be, and the fact that I haven't seen any hype about them, I would suspect they're not even the embellishments are maybe not sat on BIS lists, so who knows. You can turn the Darkmoon deck into embellishments.
Well executed.
Wait, what?
Harmit will be thrilled with all
I
this
don't see why we
excess money.
can't have
We'll make sure
Spark
it's
Darkmoon
distributed to the
trinkets.
person who needs
Well,
it.
because the trinkets are just like, trinkets are a super popular, you know, one of the cool things about a new tier of content is that, you know, there'll be new trinkets that do new cool things. They're quite defining for your character. Darkmoon trinkets used to fill that gap for season 1 and then be dead season 2, 3 and whatever. In Dragonflight, with the gear upgrade system, they tried to bring some longevity to them. You would craft it with a spark, you'd upgrade it season on season. But Blizzard was still incentivized to make shiny new trinkets each tier, which trumped the Darkmoon cards. So they were equally, you know, dead season 2, 3 and whatever. So they've tried something different this time, making them embellishments. And so let's see if the Sims say at any point that the embellishment itself is good enough. I don't know. It seems odd to me. It seems weird. If you can no longer get artisans from your profession vendor, how do you get it beside the 350 they give you from a quest? Anytime you gain a knowledge point. You gain a knowledge point, it will come with 5 artisans acuity. There are obviously exclusions to that rule, as there always are, but that's the basis. You prioritize and you focus on getting as many knowledge points as you can, and at the same time as doing that, you'll get artisan's metal. They're kind of you kind of need them both, so it's kind of convenient that they come together.
Journey far and safe.
First time crafts is the exception. Trainer taught first time crafts don't give you artisan's acuity. And there isn't a weekly quest that gives you any freebies, no. There's Blizzard it's funny to me, right? Blizzard tried to simplify the crafting system this expansion. One of the reasons they got rid, you know, they nuked Inspiration. They got rid of it completely, just you know, which is very, very rarely do they do something like that, by the way. If they are keeping a system, rarely do they completely just pull out one component of it. We frequently, from one expansion to another, see entire systems dropped, but like, I kind of expected them to make changes to Inspiration. I never really expected them to yoink it out of the game completely. But replacing it with Concentration and replacing it with Ingenuity, I think overall is good. I have positives, mostly, about it so far. I think it was also good for longevity of crafting professions. that I think it will allow players who want to go crazy with their professions and be the best crafter in the world can do that, and they can also do that without getting in the way of or stepping on everybody else in their path. Regular Joe can take their professions and, you know, modestly level them up at their own pace and at their own leisure, maybe even self-sufficiently by taking a pairing gathering profession or something. You know, take the real slow and steady approach. Players can do that, yet still feel like they can craft something that's worthwhile, because they just throw concentration at the problem. Whereas those hardcore crafters needing to hyper-optimize and min-max their stats and their gear and everything to push to that next quality guaranteed can still do that. I'm still yet to be convinced exactly how the prices are going to play out eventually. I am still a little bit worried for the old army approach. Now, this isn't saying old armies are useless, but this is just a hypothetical situation here. That at the moment it's okay, because even once you are fully spec'd, you're only at like maybe 14% multi-craft or resourcefulness or something. They've kind of got the secondary stats under control. But if they do anything in the next few patches to allow crafters to boost those secondary stats, once the secondary stats get into like the 30% range, then what you'll find is that crafters who have hyper specialized, even using more expensive materials, will be able to just straight up produce way more and will have a cheaper overall crafting cost than even those using lower quality materials and using concentration. Because those hardcore crafters will have just so much resourcefulness, so much multi-craft, that the base cost of the materials and the base quality of the materials will start to matter a lot less. And that's when concentration won't really be able to fix the problem. So I don't know how that's going to work out. I'm sure Blizzard have been able to... well, I say I'm sure. But I would have hoped that Blizzard would have like done some simulations on this and actually run the numbers on it.
Hello. See you around.
But I don't know
Safe travels.
how much credit they should be
Have a
given
good
in that
one.
regard, based upon how the auction house is working right now. Also known as it's basically not at all.
Communication in... sorry. Hello.
They'll run the numbers on the auction house server. They'll have it ready by last Titan. It's not working. It's worse than before. Even posting herbs is torture at the moment. I have no real plans to touch the auction house for the rest of the day. My wife is getting home from basically a week away in about an hour's time. So I will probably actually take the evening off. Maybe. Might be sensible. If the auction house don't flip in work, good opportunity to take a break for the evening. Get an early night. I don't think I've gone to bed before 4 AM for about a week now. So I'm probably due a good night's sleep. Oh, could do some fishing. That's a great idea. Yeah, you're right. Could do some fishing. I wonder how many people will give up on the old armies when they feel how much time it'll actually take. Well, this is what I tried to sort of talk about a little bit. I never really documented this particularly in YouTube form, but I spoke quite openly about it on stream, and I've spoke to a few individuals about it as well. In just how much time and effort is going to need to go into an alt army. A lot of people have been attracted by the fact that Remix gave them the opportunity to make a shitload of characters really quickly. And Blizzard's response to that is pretty straightforward. Blizzard's response to that is like, oh, well, you've got the characters easily this time. Now your setup is going to be 6 months worth of consistent effort. And people complained their ass off about just how long it took to grind out knowledge points for their professions on one character in Dragonflight. I'm not so convinced people are going to stick it out to do that same process on an army's worth of characters. Luckily, the weekly activities you got to do are pretty simple and straightforward. You can, if you ignore the couple of points you get from treasures, you can basically not leave the main city. So you don't have to really worry too much about traveling places. That's going to cut down the amount of time it takes you to do it. But it's still the fact that you're going to want to be consistently doing work orders. You're going to want to consistently be grinding knowledge points. The way you're going to do most of this is by patron orders, of which, if you're going the Alt Army route, may either put you in a position where you can't really complete many of them, slowing your progress down even still, or the ones that you can complete, because you are, by proxy of being an alt, not going to have pushed your profession to its limits too much, going to be lesser equipped to fill those patron orders, meaning they might cost you more to complete, which I would imagine an alt army doesn't have the resources to waste on patron orders, because you might be restricted to bulk crafting on a tailor, or you might only get your couple of 1,000 gold profit from your concentration bar sort of thing. You can't afford to then spend 5k filling a patron order for a few knowledge points. It's counterproductive. These are the concerns I have for the longevity factor. If you stick it out and you enjoy doing it, and that's the key thing, make sure you enjoy doing it, I think you'll be absolutely fine. But I very much suspect people who are trying to set up 20 characters to do like concentration crafts every day, they'll tap out when they've spent 4 million gold on setting all these characters up and realise that they've got to do this for 6 months. And they'll look at it and go, right, well, I'm only going to make 20k a week by doing this. I ain't doing that. It's not worth it for me. I think a big issue with crafting is the interface. If you know the right add-ons to use, you get a big advantage. Craft Sim is an absolute godsend. I'm very much glad we don't have to wrestle, or don't feel like we have to wrestle so much with TSM anymore for crafting. It was getting really quite frustrating how every single patch, like for the first 6 weeks, TSM just didn't work. And then we went an entire expansion and stuff still didn't work for crafting. And then we got an expansion where the TSM way of crafting didn't really sit correctly. And we just kind of fought with it a little bit. But now it seems to be that Craft Sim is sufficient enough to take the reins for the crafting part of the equation. And it can allow TSM to be the powerhouse auction house add-on, although that equally doesn't help us on days like today. Competition is good though. Competition is good everywhere. Craft Sim coming along and providing an incredible solution for crafting has put TSM in a position where they kind of have to. They have to compete, which is good for everybody. Oh. I'm meant to be rousing the sheeps. Whoops, I didn't realise I've been killing them. Craft Sim should be in the base UI. Why can't I compare outcomes without having the mats on me? It's a good point, actually. You just have to magically know what the ratios for the materials are, and you just have to magically know that if you use all quality 3, that's equivalent to 40%. But what happens when you use some quality 1s, 2s, and 3s? What happens if you use a variety? Yeah, like... The fact that you can't see that easily without an add-on is actually quite poor. Can I interest you in some lovely aged haggis? Hey, what now? There's a goblin must-have mount in the new trading post. September's trading post was leaked, wasn't it? Ages ago. Don't we know what's in the trading post? It's a honeybee. No? Wait, where is it? Sail into September's trading post. Let's go straight to the source. Hang on, let me get to somewhere where I'm not going to die. Just stand on the bridge. What we got going on here? Sail into September's trading post. It's a crocodile covered in gold. It's a plunder crocodile. There's plunder to be had when you raid the trading post this month. Whether you're adventuring by land or sky, you'll look as plunderful as you ride into danger on the Plunder Lord's Golden Crocolisk mount. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Claudius the Crab. Keglegs Radiant Crocolisk. 600 for the mount, 300 for the pet. I mean, he does look quite cool, doesn't he? Crocodile covered in gold. Chest on his back. It is pretty goblin-y, I agree. Plunder decent, oh sure. Patron orders with embellishments. Was this always there? There's no way you can do it unless you respect there. Yes, they were always there. They were another level of RNG. Even having the recipe, even having the spark recipe is not good enough. You also need to have specialized into it. They also come often at the request of quality 4s as well. Meaning that unless you have hyper optimized into making that thing, that order is dead to you. Welcome to Patron orders. Plunderlord's Radiant Finery. Frenzied Hat of the Murky Waters. And a Swabby's Cap. Okay. The Plunderlord's Ensemble. 750. You can purchase individual pieces if you wish by the looks of things. Brewfest. Brewfest's only, yeah, Brewfest's around the corner, isn't it? It's close. What is a plunder lord without a proper display of plunder? He's quite cool. Get the burden of unrelenting justice transmog set appearances. Players who have earned the monthly special reward from the trading post 12 times will be rewarded with the achievement Trading Post Enthusiast, along with a new colour shifting MOG appearance. Haven't we already got that? Or is this another bonus thing? Get tender, do the travel log, freeze some stuff. Cool. I guess they're going over the basics again because it's probably an influx of new players. Mount looks quite cool though. He looks quite funky. I'm not entirely sure why we're getting like plunder themed stuff. Is this just how long has it been since we had Plunderstorm? Is it exactly 6 months since we've had Plunderstorm or something? No, Plunderstorm was December? No, that was Season of Discovery. Shit, when was Plunderstorm? Why is that not 100 million gold mount? It would have to come with an auctioneer. It would have to come with a transmog vendor. It would have to... What else would it have to come with for it to be? It'd have to have a button on the back that instantly triggers all portals. A mailbox for sure, yeah. It's like March or April time. September 19th. Oh, September 19th, Pirate Day. Oh, maybe that's what it is then. Maybe it's to tie in with Pirate Day in September. They don't really have much going on in September, do they usually? Harvest Festival, which is always a bit meh. Brewfest, I suppose, is quite cool. Pirates Day the day before. Okay, we do get Brewfest, I suppose. I'll let September off. We have got some in. Black Market Auction House access. Yes. A sauna? Now we're talking. Now we're talking. Slap a sauna on the back. Make it trail gold like the Blizzard Bear. Constantly drops little 1 gold piles. Like at the end of Delves, anybody can pick them up. That would be quite funny, but it comes out of your gold. So that people don't use it to... you can switch it on and switch it off. Otherwise, that would be wildly open for abuse. You just have trains of those. One gold is practically worthless nowadays, but a mount that pooped gold would be cool. Snowballs from the bear are worth more than 1 gold, and nobody abuses that. Yeah, but you can't vendor the snowballs for 1 gold. You can try and sell them on the auction house, and you might sell them during Winter Veil, but... Okay. Well, that's pretty cool all the same. Right, do I dare go back to have a poke around and see what's going on in the auction house? Or do I... I'm going to be honest, boys and girls. I might actually leave it there for this evening. I kind of off the cuff decided to throw the stream up for a few hours this evening, but my wife is getting home soon, after a week away, so it is probably wise of me to not sit and play video games all day. Not to mention the auction house is absolutely fried, so we can't can't do too much in that regards anyway. What day is it tomorrow? It's Friday, isn't it? I need to make some YouTube videos, you know. I'm having way too much fun playing the game and streaming. We'll see what happens tomorrow. We'll see what happens. I'm going to play it by ear a little bit. I have no intention of taking Saturday, Sunday off like I usually do. We're just going to continue to power through with this same routine, I think, because I'm having fun. And I am actually very surprised and very intrigued to see just how many people are knocking about at for the first weekend. It could be fun. So, boys and girls, enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you very much for stopping by today. Thank you to Zan for the big raid initially, which probably brought an awful lot of you over here. Any of my regular crew, thank you very much. Enjoy it, enjoy it. Let's see if we got another home to send you to over on YouTube or on Twitch. Oh, Penguin's live over on Twitch. Maybe we'll raid into Penguin. Our stream schedules tend not to clash very often, so we'll do that. We'll send you over to Penguin. She's probably fighting with the auction house all the same. So let's throw Team NA and Team Twitch over there. Yeah, I'm clearly tired. I can't even put words together. What's she up to? She's wrestling with the auction house. Wish her best of luck with her auction house wrestling. I will see you all probably tomorrow, boys and girls. Have a wonderful evening. Thanks for stopping by. Until next time. Peace.